Welcome to day 3 of our 10-minute, 10-day mobility series. Today we're going to be focusing on the lower body, so let's get right into the routine.
Okay, so today we are going to start in a 90-degree lunge position. So we're just going to start on our knees, take the right foot forward. So we're just looking for a 90-degree angle. So it's not super deep to start off with, it's quite gentle. And then what I want you to do is tuck your tailbone down. So imagine you have a pencil from the tailbone and you're just drawing a straight line down to the floor. So already you might start to feel a little bit of a stretch in that hip flexor. What we're going to do is reach our left arm up towards the sky, high as we can, and then we're going to reach over to the right side. If it's a little bit wobbly, a bit unstable, we can bring a block underneath the hand, and that might allow you to go a little bit deeper but feel more secure in the posture. Maybe a couple of blocks as well. So we're just going to hold here for a few breaths. Again, think about how that breath is feeling. If it's short, can you consciously make it softer, longer, deeper, slower? And we're going straight into a pretty tight area for most of us, so that breath control is really key when we're stretching. Even if it's super loud, super deep, that's okay. Final breath. You might find that you've relaxed a little bit into it. Maybe, maybe not, that's okay. And then very slowly ease out of it. I'm going to relax the hands down. We're going to take our hands either side of our foot. So we're going to naturally come into a little bit of a deeper lunge. If you have more space, you can tuck the back toes under, slide that knee further behind, but just be mindful of how your back is feeling here. If you're rounded and it's quite uncomfortable, just place a couple of blocks underneath your hands because we're trying to maintain that nice long spine here. So we're going to go ahead and move into our lizard lunge today. So just lifting your right hand and placing it on the inside of your foot. You're just going to heel toe that foot so it comes to the outer edge of the mat. And again, maybe sinking a little bit deeper, maybe staying as you are. Option is always to bring the floor to you, placing your hands on a couple of cushions or a couple of blocks. We're going to see how we feel turning those right toes out slightly. It might create a little bit more space in the hip. And then option is to roll onto that outer edge of the foot, what we call our knife edge. So just imagine that you're opening your hip like a book, just maybe opening and closing a few times, maybe keeping it open or maybe keeping it fully closed. It's always what feels best for your body. If the body opens and you feel like you can sink a little bit deeper, maybe coming onto the forearms. Again, wherever you are in your lunge, you just want to keep thinking about how your spine is feeling. And if you're halfway between going a little bit deeper, you can come onto the forearms on a cushion or blocks. We're just going to stay for 2 more breaths. Just imagining that tension beginning to release as you exhale. And then we're going to come back up onto the palms of the hands if we haven't already, adding a twisted variation. Option 1, we're just going to lift our right hand up to the sky. We can stay here. Option 2, a little bit deeper, we can reach towards the back of the mat. Option 3, we can place our hand inside the thigh just to encourage a little bit more opening, a deeper twist. Option 4, we can reach towards that back foot, but they're all options. Go with what feels right in your body today. Maybe to a place of discomfort, but be mindful that it's not super painful. Nice. Maybe just test out one that you think you can't do. Be surprised. But again, breathe. That's the key thing. Nice. And then very gently, if we're holding the foot, see if we can release it slowly. And then we'll windmill that arm forwards. And then we're going to heel toe our right foot across to the left side of the mat, coming into our pigeon pose. So we don't need to have our shin parallel at all with the mat. We just lower the front leg down, maybe tuck the heel closer to the hip, walk that left leg back, and like Tom's demonstrating, we can place a cushion or a block underneath that right thigh. Wherever we can, bring our hips square towards the ground. And just start nice and high on the fingertips, maybe pressing them in towards the ground, maybe on fists if the wrists are a little bit tight, a little bit sore today. And again, breathe. We're going really deep into our hips today, so maybe smile to help yourself relax. Maybe you're just gritting your teeth, that's okay as well. We can either stay high. Option, again, is to come deeper onto forearms, whether we rest on blocks, whether we come straight down onto the floor. And for those of you that do have more space, maybe change it from a pigeon pose to what we call a sleeping swan. So we just extend those arms all the way forwards and relax the head towards the mat. How's that feeling? Tight, nice. So again, just keep breathing. It seems so simple, but it does work, I promise. And you don't have to rush into deepening a posture. You can just let your body slowly open, soften, and sink into that place. And as soon as it feels too much, just know that's time to come out. So it is time for us to come out. We'll walk our hands back in towards our bodies. We'll sit over to the right side, swing our legs round. Maybe come off your block first, and then we're going to come straight back up into that kneeling position. So just for a moment, maybe see how that right side feels compared to the left. We're going to take our left foot forwards, repeat that whole process on the second side. So again, we're going to start in our 90-degree lunge, tucking that tailbone under. This time we reach the right arm up to the sky, reach over to the side, maybe placing your hand on a block for some extra support so that we're not pressing into the joints. We're actually allowing ourselves to stretch and open here. If it's comfortable for the neck, you can look up towards the hand. Otherwise, you can just look down towards the ground, and that helps maintain some balance as well. So nice and deep into those hip flexors. Last breath here. And then we'll gently release, taking our hands forwards. Naturally, we come into a deeper lunge. Again, we can take those blocks, and we can have an even deeper lunge when the body is ready by tucking those toes under of the right foot, shuffling that knee back if that feels safe to do so. We're going to heel toe that left foot to the outer edge of the mat, so the hands are underneath the shoulders. And then again, we're going to turn those toes out to the side. Option again is to play around with that book-like motion, opening and closing the hips. This side's definitely tighter for me. So again, just breathe. It's really hard to remember to breathe, especially in those tight areas. If the body feels ready to go a little bit deeper into the posture, feeling free to explore, maybe coming onto forearms, maybe staying as you are, maybe adding that movement or just holding a more static stretch. And then we're going to add that twisted variation. So coming back up onto the hands if we're not already. This time we lift the left arm up to the sky. Same options, we can stay here, reach behind, place the hand on the inner thigh, or even reach for that back foot. Nice. Wherever we are, we want to see if we can lift the chest towards the sky. So we get a nice opening through there at the same time as well. Final 2 breaths here. If we're holding the foot, gently release and then bring the hand back round. We're going to heel toe our foot over towards the right side, coming into our pigeon posture. So taking your time as we enter lowering the first leg down, and then we shuffle that right leg back. Again, we can use that block under the hip. Maybe we need a couple, that's okay. We're trying to keep the hips forward. If this position is super uncomfortable for any reason, then you can always have the leg directly underneath the hip, just so we still have a nice bit of a stretch through that hip flexor, but we're not adding too much pressure into our joints, into the actual stretch, so we're still getting a nice release. Again, we can stay high. If you feel ready, maybe coming onto forearms, maybe this side has more space. And again, you have that sleeping swan option, coming all the way down onto the forehead, extending those arms forwards. Breathing nice and deeply. I'm really staying here as long as what feels comfortable. As soon as you're ready to come out, gently ease your way out. If you're on a block, take the block away first, then we'll roll onto our left hip. Bring those arms forwards for one final stretch. We're going to take a forward fold to release the back of the leg. So what we're going to do today, we're actually going to have our knees bent and our feet flexed, reaching those arms up to the sky, and then we're going to reach forward, see if we can hold the feet. If not, that's okay. And we're looking for more of a long spine here rather than trying to get the forehead down. If you feel more open, you can slowly ease those legs away, or you can keep them bent until the body feels ready.
Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let us know in the comments how you're finding this mobility series. Make sure you check out day 4 and Molly's channel. They're linked in the description below.